Hello everybody, I'm Ozgand, and this is another How to Morrowind. Well, if you've watched the enormously long overview video, you know that I touched on a lot of different systems in the game, but I didn't show any single one in any great detail. So, that is what these next several videos will be taking care of. This one, I'll be going over combat. Some later ones I'll be going over the map and fast travel and alchemy and, just whatever else I think, or y'all think, needs explaining. Just, leave comments saying, hey, how does this other system work? And I will get to it if I haven't already. Anyway, start off with the basics. Your skills correspond with certain types of weapons. I've boosted some of my skills using cheats just to prove a point. See, my short blade is only 30, marksman is 60, that's the one I boosted. Anyway. And I also boosted my speed just for the sake of time. Anyway, let's get to it. If you noticed, that's only 31. The way combat works is it's based on probabilities and dice roll. Since they didn't have the technology to add in like dodge animations, they kind of went with the old style Dungeons & Dragons dice roll system. The actual chance to hit is based on several different factors. It's based on your skill with whatever weapon you have equipped right now. I have a silver short sword, so short blade would be applicable. It also is affected by your agility and your fatigue, how much fatigue you have left out of your total. It also is affected by any sanctuary spell effects that your enemy is under, as well as your enemy's agility and a few other factors. As you saw, it took me several swings with this dude, and I missed several. There were several times I was on it, but it didn't actually do damage. That was because whatever the math behind the scenes came out as, it said that I missed. So let's switch to a weapon that I'm better at, however artificially. Let's go with marksman. Marksman includes all of your bows, crossbows, and thrown weapons like darts, throwing stars, and throwing knives. Darts, stars, and knives don't do a whole lot of damage. That's actually mostly based on your strength. So let's try to sneak. My sneak skill is not very high, so I won't. Oh, there it goes. Hey, see, one shot. Let's try to sneak again. And yeah, see, that was because I've got a higher marksman skill. So eventually, if you have your skills high enough, your enemy's dodge rate will not even affect anything. But let's go back. Let's go to a weapon that I'm not very good with, like a longsword. Two-handed longsword, a claymore. Let's scroll way down to, well, maybe not way down, but down enough. It's a long blade. See, my long blade's at 5, so this is going to be exciting. Let's get a look at this guy first. Yeah. Anyway, moving right past that. Oh, that was weird. Okay. How about you? See, it does a lot of damage, but I'm gonna miss a lot. Okay. And you may have noticed that I was using a few different attacks. That is all based on what direction you're moving when you attack. So, when you're standing still, that's a chop. So, you've got the slash when you're moving from side to side, and you're moving forwards, you've got the thrust, and as well when you're moving backwards. And each attack, depending on the weapon, has a different chop, slash, and thrust damage rating. Like, maces won't have very good thrust damage, but say a short sword would. Slash would have better with, well, I don't know what, maybe an axe. No? Well, it depends on which weapon you have. Yeah, like spears, my personal favorite. Oh, wow, I got really lucky with that one. Really lucky. I should not have hit that. Oh, I forgot to... Speaking of lucky, luck also affects your chance to hit, as well as how much damage you do. With most weapons... Well, all weapons except for the crossbow, I believe. Your damage is primarily determined by your strength modifier. It also has an effect of the actual weapon damage itself, but strength plays a huge role. Let's see, where to now? Let's see. Now let's go with an axe. Oh, actually, let's do this, because I just like to show these things off. Weapons have different types of can have all sorts of enchantments. If you can cast a spell, you can enchant a weapon with that spell. I'll go over enchanting later, but there are certain types of enemies that are resistant to mundane weapons. So that would be like your iron, your steel. Actually, it's just those two. Well, bone mold also, and chitin. I forget about those two because there's not many of those weapons around. So to get around that, if an enemy is immune to normal weapons or mundane, I don't know how it's labeled in the system anymore. It's been way too long since I messed with it. You can enchant a weapon, which adds magic effects, so you can get around that. Silver and higher, so that would be your glass, your orcish, your daedric, your ebony, or whatever other kind of weapons. Those are considered non-mundane, so those would affect any kind of enemy. Most creatures that are immune to that are things like ghosts and certain kinds of daedra. Like, actually, scamps are immune to normal weapons, which is kind of weird. Atronachs are also immune to normal weapons, but one way to get around that is, like I said, use magic. And this is actually an enchantment on the spear itself. Upgrades. Summoned weapons are... All summoned weapons have a lovely little enchantment on them. It fortifies whatever skill that is by 10 points. So, there you go. There are some spells that affect your chances of... Well... Actually, there's one bug with the chance to hit. There's a blind or blindness spell effect that... excuse me, I just ate breakfast. Right, the blind spell effect. That actually... You'd think it would reduce your chances of hit as far as the math goes. But actually, the bug is that it actually improves your chances. So if you have like a 10% blindness effect, your screen will go darker by 10%, and well, as you would expect, and your chance to hit goes up by 10 points. So that's always nice. Anyway, yeah, see, this is more like it, like with a low skill weapon. And just show it off, let's do that and go hunting for another enemy. Actually, I happen to know there's a thing over here. It's an ancestral tomb. I'm probably gonna die in here, so let's save. And spooky. Ooh, hey, that's always nice. And I'm a nerd, so I can read that. It says, "Woe upon you." There's actually no Y in the Daedric language, or rather, alphabet. So it's not actually a language. It's just an alternate alphabet. It's kind of weird. Anywho, oh, there's a ghost. Acha. Come here, you. Actually, no, don't come here. So let's equip a mundane weapon just to make that point. See, weapon has no effect. Oh dear, what did he just do? Ghost curse, and oh, that's another thing with the combat. They can knock you down and just wail on you as much as they want. And real quick, let's switch something in the options. There is a option here to always use best attack. So what that does is, you see how you've got, you know how you've got the the chop slash thrust? That makes it so you always use the highest damage dealing one. So for this weapon, that'll be thrust. So whether I'm moving sideways, forwards, backwards, or standing still, I will be... Oh my gosh, that's loud. Okay, I've had enough of this. Let's switch to silver. I may be in trouble here. Maybe just a little. Yeah, my fatigue is way too low for this. He keeps hitting me. Ow, it's loud. Just gonna see if there's any kind of... Oh, where's his little dust pile? Oh, hey. That's the thing about a marksman. You don't always get your stuff back. But it's nice when you do, but the chances of you getting your ammo back is really low. And as you may have noticed, hand-to-hand is also another weapon skill or combat skill, and it's almost completely useless, as it is in the vanilla game. Because what it does is it depletes the target's fatigue until they fall down, until they get knocked out, and then when they're knocked down or knocked out, it's actually the same thing. That's when it deals damage. So if you watch the super epic fight in the overview episode with Foreign Gilneth, the murderer guy, you know what that's all about. You know how annoying that can be. And that is pretty much it. Went over all the weapon skills, and yeah, alright. I'll see you guys later, and as always, remember to save. You guys take care. I'll see you next time.